you doing? This is the guy from Pittsburgh. I want to show you my Avon Christmas house. It plays music, but I can't play that because of copyright problems. But I want to do a quick video on a horrific story. My administrator, Justin, hello Justin, sent me an email. And it's one of the most disgusting stories I've ever seen. Two teens were arrested for feeding a live cat to two dogs, posted the video attack on YouTube, and they've been arrested on suspicion of cruelty to animals in Kern County. Here's a news story. You can see it here. And that's on CBS Sacramento. The incident occurred over the summer when animal control wasn't contacted until December 4th. And somebody saw the video on a networking site. 15 and a 17-year-old, they fed a live cat while voices in the background encouraged the dogs to attack. Now, years ago when I lived in Roseville, we had two children that were 8 years old, little monsters. They took my beloved Teensy cat and my mama cat, Squirt Squirt, two beautiful Siamese. And I called Teensy cat, I called Squirt Squirt for days. No kitties. And we found out they broke into our house and vandalized it. We were renting it. And they threw my cats over the fence to a Rottweiler, and it killed them. And the police, we have to protect the minor. And I said, what about the rights of me and my lady and the owner of the house? Because they put lipstick all over the walls, wrote obscenities all over the walls, stole stuff out of the house. They'd broken into the house once before and stole my wife's costume and jewelry and giving it out at school. So I really wonder what kind of monsters are parents raising that they feed a cat to a dog, that they throw cats over a fence and have them killed, that they beat cats. A while back in Livermore, some teenage jerks, and that's not the word I want to use, begins with A, they hung a cat on a railroad overpass and watched it strangle to death. Another guy around the country has been taking dead dogs and dead cats and draping them in trees. Now, the late Malachi Martin said he believed that we had 10 million perfectly possessed people in the world. May he rest in peace. He was murdered. I'm convinced of it. So was Art Bell. And hello, Art Bell. And free Art Bell. And so I really wonder, are we raising a generation of monsters? And the monsters are not on Maple Street. They're on America Street. And for every good kid, there seems to be 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 100 evil children. They're just inherently evil. It's like something out of a Exorcist or Omen or some bad movie. I don't get it. I would never hurt an animal. I would never hurt a person except in self-defense. So it's a horrible, horrible, horrifying thing to hear. And yet you hear more and more of these kinds of stories of animal abuse every day. Guy locally here went out. Dog was barking in its own backyard. He went out with a shotgun and blew the dog away because it wouldn't shut up. And he went to prison for it. I personally think if you feed a cat to dogs, you should be fed to the dogs. If you shoot a dog or a cat, hang a dog, you should get that punishment. An eye for an eye. And no wimping about we can't have capital punishment. You stop these people, and eventually they'd realize that you can't keep doing this. Oh, there's another thing I want to comment about very briefly. I'll do a video on that later. The so-called protesters in Berkeley, many of whom are young communists. They've been seen all over the country with their young communist sign, their young anarchist signs. They're not protesting Michael Brown. They're not protesting Gruber or whatever his name was in New York, who died in a chokehold. They're out there to loot. They looted the Radio Shack, a hotel, a Chase Manhattan Bank, other businesses. They stopped traffic on the Interstate 80, the main corridor going from San Francisco to go to where I live, and then on to Sacramento and on to Vallejo for an hour and a half. A woman um, went into labor in her car. She had the baby. Baby's fine. She's fine, but she couldn't get to the hospital to have her baby. She had enforced labor because these a-holes wouldn't get the hell out of the way, and they think their protest gives them the right to disrupt everybody else's lives in an area or in the country. And they put up these signs, black lives are important. Yes, black lives are important. But when you do stuff like this, no one gives a damn about your cause because they're getting fed up. All lives are important, not just black ones. And a lot of these kids, and they're young teenagers, a lot of them, maybe if they got put in the county jail for a year and had to go out on a work cruise, cleaning the roads, or cleaning golf courses up, or something like that, they might change their attitudes about the police and society and pay for their crime of disrupting people who have nothing to do with their cause. It's an excuse for looting, it's an excuse for anarchy, and it's an excuse for selfish little children who've never grown up to disrupt society because they don't like the way a court decision went on, and they don't like a grand jury that was picked months before Michael Brown was shot, before there ever was a Michael Brown incident. And the same types of people didn't like the Zimmerman case in Florida. Now, we didn't see him riot with O.J., and we didn't see him riot with Michael Jackson because they were acquitted. But you can bet dimes of dollar bills if those guys had been convicted, you would have riots all over the country, particularly in the case of Michael Jackson. So these people need to knock it off and realize that they don't have the right to disrupt the entire country because they want a flawed sense of justice. The only justice they want is mob justice. All right, this is the guy from Pittsburgh. I got to go. Free Art Bell, and have a great day, and I will be back later on when I do my errands. And have a great holiday season, and Hanukkah's coming soon. Okay, bye-bye.